Hey, everybody.
Hi,
Welcome to TFT, Tarot for Today, Divine Dabblings with
Oberon.
and me, Banshee. Welcome to your
Your
Weird Week. And, wow, happy days, huh? The debt ceiling got passed, which we really felt our cards were talking about last week. We're going to go over them right now and show just how this all unfolded according to our tarot cards.
All right.
All right. So card one, we ended up having the sun upright, and the question is,
What was the major focus?
what was the major focus?
And we used the Twin Tarot Oracle.
Yes. And we feel the major focus was trying to achieve success, in some endeavor, try to bring in harmony and happiness and joy back, success.
The sun sort of has, to some degree, healing aspects. It maybe has aspects of health, the body of health, things like that. People being together, people enjoying each other's company even.
Well, so thus, just bringing to a close, a successful close, this debt ceiling debacle. That's the focus. How can we do that? All right. So what will we find out or see? The Mysteries was the Secrets Tarot, and that was
the Two of Cups
upright.
Mm-hmm.
And so, interestingly enough, basically what we needed to find out and see is that, there was harmony between Biden and McCarthy. They were able to achieve a compromise, something they could both live with. In this perfect scenario, it seems like, with the Two of Cups, everybody was happy. Well, I don't know that that's really the case with the way it turned out, but I will say this, everybody could clink their glasses and at least agree.
Right. We could nuance that a little bit to say that this is not about extreme happy, but this was about a coming together, maybe a coming together really from other points of view.
But you also had some thoughts on this, Mr. O, and I think that it's important to mention that what, he said, what we would find out or see is that maybe underneath it all, there was never any doubt that people would be able to pull it together and make this happen.
Well, I'm entirely too cynical to go off on this, but yeah, basically that's the idea, is that most of our things going on really have already been decided to some level, because there is kind of like the powers that be, the donors of the candidates and the politicians who make what they want happen.
So what other perspectives with this debt ceiling thing needed to be considered? And for that we used
the Tarot of Oppositions.
And right there we had the Three of Cups upright, which is really interesting because, I forgot as we were talking this out too, that we used both sides of that card here. So there's pluses and minuses. So in other words, there were some people that would be really happy with this decision or, with what this deal was that they came up with. And there were some people that were not. The whole goal was, though, to make sure that some people, that not just some people, that there were enough people happy to pass this bill.
Well, and if you're like me and you go on the idea that a lot of this was a charade for the public to eat up, then you sort of see this as really an act, those who are going to always grumble, those who are going to say we're happy, and really it still was a sense of consensus because nobody got exactly what they wanted.
Exactly. It's true.
Yeah.
And that's what consensus or compromise
is about.
I don't feel very happy about it, but I'm certainly happy that we don't have to face this again till 2025.
And that we didn't default.
So all right, and that's it. So let's go on to what is the overall impact, which was the Healing Light Tarot, and that's the Page of Cups reversed.
And the overall impact could be that maybe there was some sense of disillusionment, some sense of really feeling droll or not exactly elated, but maybe it wasn't totally bad. It's kind of like a little bit cup, page holding the cup, half empty, half full.
Exactly. So also, well, I should add to that, the overall impact with that is that basically, there was no real big barriers made here. Wouldn't it be nice if they could have both agreed to, why do we have to go through this every year? Why don't we abolish this debt ceiling thing? No, that thinking just did not get there. And so here we will have to face it again in 2025. So I feel here there was a lack of imagination in this. There may have been some in that, perhaps Biden found a way to save a lot of the social programs and his own pet programs that he passed this year, or last year that, were important to him.
Well, if you're like me, you're always dismayed that when it comes to who's cutting what budget, it seems like the extremely wealthy people never have their tax rates change. They just keep getting less and less. They pay for less and less. And the extreme budget of the military just keeps getting to be more and more things go to the military. We could resolve most of these problems of debt if we tax the rich more like we used to, and if we were not so beholden to that military budget.
And so finally, card 5, what could win the weird week or lose it? But in this case, we felt it was a win, but I hedged my bets a little bit here last week. I remember saying, well, a decision and move is going to be made, but will it be the right one? But it looks as though, for better or worse, the debt ceiling is passed. It did go through a decision, a move was made, and we did have for that the 2 of Swords reversed, right? And so when it's reversed, action happens.
Yes, but it still could be that you're not exactly totally informed correctly and that the direction could be questionable.
Could be questionable.
It is what it is.
But it is what it is. It's done, and they have moved on now. And so you know what? So can we.
And we will.
There are other issues going on in the world, I'm sure, and I'm not sure of anything totally pressing at this time other than the usual, the things that have been going on. There's been wildfires out of control in Canada, but thankfully they're getting some deluges of rain now. We've had wild, wacky weather in some parts of the U.S., yet we're getting pretty parched here in Michigan. We haven't had a lot of rain. In the world, there is, the war in Ukraine. We're still waiting on the Ukrainian supposed offensive that's going to happen here. But it hasn't. And Putin has been bombarding,
well, and then there's,
Ukraine.
Mysterious and not so mysterious drone attacks on Moscow.
Right.
There's other things going on with the intrigue. Oh, you little bitch.
You stay there. You stay there.
Oh, you little bastard.
You stay. Now I'm angry. All right, so that's what's happening here. I'm going to have room to shuffle today, buddy.
But some of the other intrigues around the world between various other countries.
Africa, there's issues
China,
in the African
Korea.
nations right now with war. So we've got to be mindful of the things that are going on. And then there's the usual Donald Trump revelations that have been leaking out. So let's see what's going to happen, Mr.
Right.
O. I am shuffling now the major focus card, which comes from the Twin Tarot Oracle. We'll see what our major focus or theme for the week ahead is. Well, and it's a happy card. It's upright. It's the Hermit upright. Wow.
Beautiful.
So what is the focus this week? We're going to be learning more about something, maybe some wisdom is being revealed. Also I forgot to mention that campaign season is getting in swing now. A lot of the Republican candidates are either about to declare, but they've all seemingly, a lot of them have been on the campaign trail. So it could be about that. It could be about something else. I'm wondering with the Hermit too, Mr. O, if it couldn't be about some decisions by the courts, perhaps, that might be coming up.
I don't know. There are some things coming down. This is about wisdom received as well as wisdom shared. And the Hermit sort of is there to kind of guide people too. So maybe there's this sense of something guiding us towards knowledge that will be ultimately helpful.
I like that. So we'll just have to see on this one, or let's take a look at the other cards. It may point us more in a particular direction or not.
So now we're going to move on to what we need to know, find out, hopefully. And of course, for that, I use the Secrets Tarot. What will we find out or see? What we hope to find out or see? What we should find out or see? All of these could be contained in the card. And previously, the Secrets Tarot has been a habittique of Goth Tarot, but even
habittique.
Yes, that means something that you're habitually use.
Okay. Did you just make that up?
No, I didn't make it up, and I could take the time to look it up.
No, do not do that for me.
All right.
I'll take your word for it, though. I just wondered if you made it up. It's kind of a cute word I have not heard of.
Well, I may not have used it exactly correctly.
Okay.
So what will we find out? What will we see? And of course, it's another card that comes up way too often, the reverse Nine of Swords, but of course it's a little bit better when it's reversed, as we like to say.
I'll let you go first on that. So that is
the
mysteries.
What we may find out is that we have been worried about some things that maybe we shouldn't have been worried about, or we've been worried about the wrong things. Maybe we've been worried about one thing when we really should worry about another. It could also be saying, too, that maybe there's an anguish that we are perceiving from other people, and maybe that anguish isn't truly heartfelt, or at least it's falling on unresponsive ears. So this could be talking about things like maybe poor people's struggles, or the people who didn't win out at all on anything with the debt ceiling, but maybe lost. And we're talking about people who maybe have to work for their SNAP benefits or other situations like that.
Well, you know, it's really interesting about this card, and it is reversed, which I like to see, is that maybe whatever knowledge or wisdom that is being shared with us may have the effect of that. What will be revealed is that is something that will allay our anxieties, allay our fears. Maybe, you know, some groups like to blow things out of proportions. Maybe some conspiracy theories will be dashed out the window, but, you know, there's always somebody who's going to believe some of that stuff.
Well, maybe the revelations of some things will really make some people feel sad. All the nutballs in Congress who are trying to make a conspiracy out of nothing. Yeah. Well, okay.
But that's
our respected political representatives. Right?
But I would say here, you're right. Well, this is reversed. So like I said, I feel, you know, that some fears and anxieties are going to be allayed by some revelation here. I wonder if it might be something scientific even. Maybe it's about climate change or global warming. Well, maybe there's some positive development.
You were talking about last week
about
discovery. Finding energy or electricity out of
thin air, literally, out of clouds, out of humidity. So they feel that there's a way to harness that. They feel there is definitely a way to harness that. But of course, as our atmosphere gets drier, I'm beginning to wonder about how they're going to do that.
So like the Nine of Swords, we just have to cry more.
But it's reversed, Mr. O. It's reversed.
Okay, true enough.
All right, go ahead. What do you got?
We're now on our card 3, for which we use the Tarot of Oppositions, and we're asking what other perspectives need to be considered. And because this is a shared deck, it also has a dualistic propensity about it. We both will shuffle this deck. So
I don't think I want to borrow it soon.
Okay.
Since it's a shared
do you have
deck.
my tarot library card in the system? Like, do you have privileges?
Wait a minute. This is a shared deck. I should not have to sign it out from you.
Well, technically you gave it to me, so if it's being shared, it will be shared.
I knew I should buy my own. It sounds like I got a license to do so here.
No one can stop you from spending money, so I guess that's true.
All right, Mr. O.
All right. So our card is the reversed Wheel of Fortune.
Oh, no.
However, the Wheel of Fortune, these cards have both the reversed and upright meaning, and so you are asked to consider the idea of both of those possibilities or anything that kind of draws more towards the middle of them. So,
oh my gosh.
What are the other perspectives? Very many, perhaps.
Anything goes.
Anything goes, right.
The wheel could turn one way or another based on maybe what we find out on how we come to terms with it or not. You know, it's like also maybe this revelation will kind of throw things into a little bit of, I don't know if I want to say chaos, but maybe I do, you know, maybe there's just, or there's some karmic implications, and how we manage this knowledge will have some major implications for what our destiny lies before us.
Well, I almost wonder if the revelations that maybe are coming are about world security, world order or disorder, or maybe national order disorder, and that these revelations have the effect of throwing, like you said, chaos, you know, throwing steps that can't necessarily be taken back once we move along them.
Now, I forgot to mention, and I don't see it here necessarily, but one of the other issues going on right now is China's been really aggressive towards our ships in the seas out their way. There's been some maneuvers even with planes. So I think, you know, we got to watch what's going on with China too. But this is some very interesting stuff here. Something's hanging in the balance.
Yes.
That's at least as far as other perspectives go. So maybe what we need to think about here is how this stuff is going to make things hang in the balance.
I tend to think this is talking about world issues
right.
that border on order,
right.
disorder, that kind of thing. Accidents even. I mean, maybe this could be talking about people trying to do something right and an unintended accident happens, you know, with nuclear facilities or with similar situations.
Well,
a bad situation with a military game training exercise that precipitates some bad things.
And I mentioned courts, and you know, the only thing, you know, I don't know of any major Supreme Court decisions coming up right now, but I will say this. People have been making hay about the fact that the grand jury is meeting again this week for, you know, the Trump investigations, and somebody is really thinking this is a sign that they may be close to indictment. So whether we're going to hear anything on that front, and that's hanging in the balance, I don't know. So I'm going to throw that out there as a possibility.
In that case, the perspectives could say that some of those situations could go either or both ways, that some of this might work out better, some of the things may not work out well, that maybe indictments won't come out, or maybe indictments will be foiled somehow. And depending on your side of the situation, you'll either be happy or you won't.
And I feel like with you, though, that this may have more worldly implications than, you know, than the Trump situation, but this could be pointing to that. This could be pointing to that.
Well, as we go, so goes the world, one could say.
Well, I got the Healing Light Tarot in my hand because the next card is, what is the overall impact of all of this? Maybe we'll get another piercing of light here as to what this could be pointing to.
All right.
And let's see. I'm using my Healing Light Tarot on that. All right.
We have had a long couple of days, I'll have to say that. Oh. And it's the sun reversed.
So sun reversed. And, you know, depending on, well, I should let you, well, you want me to go?
Go ahead.
Depending on your, your style of tarot interpretation, the sun can be kind of negative, but oftentimes a lot of people believe that the sun reversed is not that bad. So I feel here there may be some gloom associated with this. Again, maybe, we have maybe success eludes us. Maybe, we're feeling a little disappointed with the information we find out and the effect it's having on our future, or that things just seem more chaotic now or uncertain.
We may just not feel as impressed as we could be. It could be like the debt ceiling thing, that some things are better, but it's not a total win-win for everyone here. The overall impact could be saying, too, that maybe some things are very apparent, but some things are not so apparent because there's still a little bit of clouds hanging over the matters. And so if we're talking about the narrative of maybe finding out some things, then it is possible that maybe what we find out is that it's helpful, but not helpful enough, that it's just a start.
Right. Or what we find out here, like you said, what we find out here is just going to take us to a point where the overall impact is that it leaves more questions than answers. Maybe it opens up more questions that need to be answered.
Right, we have
more problems that need to be
through
resolved.
more of the clouds that are still hanging there.
Yeah, so I'm really beginning to wonder.
So finally, then, we move on to what could win, or maybe not win, this weird week. And we use the Global Fusion Intuitive Tarot.
So more illumination is needed.
Yes, that's basically the bottom line. We don't need no stinking reverse sun.
Well, it's not the end of the world. Now, if you get the world card, I'm going to crack up.
Oh, no.
And if that's reversed...
No, Sunny.
You just stay there. Although I'm done shuffling now, so I don't care as much.
Our final card. It's the Eight of Cups reversed. And I think what it's saying is that if there's an expansion towards something that we feel is going to solve things, it's not. The answer may be still in looking at situations that are not resolved yet, that there may still be important things that need to be resolved, specifically about maybe some of these issues, maybe what's going on with the penchant for all of the military activity around the world, all of the climate things around the world. We may just have to realize we have to address issues in the past rather than totally moving towards the future.
There it is. I think that I'm not sure if this wins the weird week again or loses the weird week. The fact that we backtrack. It's almost as if we go back. Is it because we left some things unfinished, untended to, that need to be resolved? Some old conflicts that are festering now because we didn't resolve things back in the past? And so it's creating problems and chaos. I'm not sure here, or does this mean our hope lies, that the weird week can be won by truly revisiting the past, something that worked in the past?
Well, in some ways, the most hopeful card was the first card. The other cards sort of have a little bit of mitigation there with that. So it's hard to say exactly what this could be about. It could be about a few things. As the week goes on, we will consider this.
I think we're going to be very open-ended about this, but we probably should recap it, Mr. O. So the major focus theme for this weird week is, again, acquiring some wisdom, some knowledge, something we need to know will be shared, maybe in a good, it looks like in a positive way at least, that this information is coming out. This is coming out.
I agree.
And where what we will find out, the mysteries. Well, it's about something that should alleviate somebody's fears or anxieties, or, you know, maybe puts us on a better track to let go of some of the anxieties we've been holding on to.
We have a situation that maybe could help some of us heal.
Yes, but then the other perspectives need to be considered is this could throw things off balance. This is definitely kind of a card of chaos or karma in a way, and where the situation could go either way, depending on if people really take the healing to heart.
It's one of those situations that maybe would not be able to totally predict. It just has too many variables, perhaps.
And the overall impact is that it just seems like more questions and answers may come out of this, that there's no easy solutions, there's no easy path to success. Success may be delayed.
We are literally not even seeing what it is that maybe can help us. We have to really strive harder for that.
And ultimately, what could win or lose the weird week is what happens when we backtrack. It seems like we're backpedaling a little bit here. Maybe this knowledge is coming from something from, you know, the past. Something from the past that has to be resolved. You know, whether it's the Russia-Ukraine situation, maybe something happens here. I wonder if maybe some land is retaken by Ukraine, perhaps, you know, that is restoring something from their past. I'm wondering if that's what the offensive is about. I could also see this with the Trump situation in that, you know, maybe if a decision is coming down or some more knowledge is being revealed, you know, it could lead us to, you know, it's about revisiting something that happened in the past.
Well, when it comes to
finally moving it forward.
When it comes to the Trump situation, you know, a lot of this could be about him trying to avoid the consequences of what's going on with the January 6th stuff. This could be saying really
that is going to come out.
Something might more come out, and some things have kind of come out too. So we could possibly see more of that.
My goodness. So the options are endless here. We're just going to wait and see what develops. And we will certainly recap again when we meet again next week for another episode of Your Weird Week. Take care, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this, and we will see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.